Wait, did Bill Maher just call Kamala Harris incompetent?
Harris would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first. I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular. You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no fingers.
Oh, and Rob Schneider didn't hold back either.
Nobody voted for Kamala. They just said, okay, you're it. They did this in 2016. Bernie Sanders, he was the guy that got all the votes in the primary. We just give it to Hillary.
Things are heating up and you won't believe what they said. Let's break it down. Bill Maher's brutal takedown. So Bill Maher didn't mince words when it came to Kamala Harris. During a heated discussion on his show, Maher openly criticized Harris, calling her one of the most unpopular politicians in America. And honestly, he's not wrong. Maher pointed out that despite endless attempts to boost her image, nothing seems to be working. Remember her infamous word salads? Yeah, those awkward speeches where she seems to say a lot, yet actually says nothing. Maher mocked this repeatedly, claiming Harris lacks the ability to connect with voters in a meaningful way. For instance, during one particular speech, Harris rambled on about the significance of the passage of time.
I think Kamala Harris would make a great president of a university. California governor in 2026 after polls show her leading.
A statement that confused everyone listening. Maher argued that this type of communication only makes her seem unprepared and even incompetent, but the criticism didn't stop there. Maher also took aim at Harris's handling of immigration and the border crisis. Remember when President Biden appointed her to oversee the border situation? Well, Harris faced massive backlash for failing to visit the border for months. When she finally did go, critics argued it was just for optics. Maher slammed her for failing to deliver meaningful solutions, pointing out that she quietly supported Biden's decision to extend the border wall project, despite previously criticizing it. Maher's message was clear. Kamala Harris has become a political liability, and Democrats are starting to panic. Rob Schneider's savage remarks.
No, let me tell you, Kamala, she does different accents, depending on where she is, down south. Let me tell you something. You boys better get it together here and vote. Save democracy. Black community, she's like, shit, let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you right now, we ain't vote for Trump, I even saw her at a 7-Eleven going like, listen, it's very important that we vote for the Democrats. We're trying to save democracy here. We're trying to save democracy. For sure, you don't understand. You need to vote. You need to vote.
Rob Schneider. If you thought Bill Maher was harsh, Rob Schneider took things to another level. During an interview, Schneider claimed Harris didn't even earn her spot in the administration. According to Schneider, Harris wasn't chosen because she was the best candidate. She was selected purely to satisfy party politics. He pointed out that Harris struggled badly in the 2020 Democratic primaries, failing to gain serious traction. In fact, she dropped out before voting even began, yet somehow she ended up as Biden's running mate. Schneider argued that this wasn't due to public demand, but rather because Democratic leaders wanted to check the diversity box. But Schneider didn't stop there. He took shots at Harris's tendency to adjust her tone, speech patterns, and even accents depending on her audience. He accused her of appearing fake and insincere, which, according to him, explains why she struggles to connect with voters. In one viral moment, Harris was criticized for suddenly adopting a Southern accent during a speech in Georgia. Schneider called this embarrassing and desperate, claiming it revealed her lack of the Democrats' problem. But here's the thing, Maher and Schneider didn't just criticize Harris alone. They took shots at the entire Democratic Party, claiming their failures go far beyond just one politician. Maher accused Democrats of gaslighting voters by downplaying real issues like inflation, crime rates, and Biden's visible cognitive struggles. According to Maher, the party's refusal to address these concerns is driving voters away. Schneider, on the other hand, warned that the party's obsession with identity politics is backfiring. He argued that by constantly pushing progressive agendas and ignoring mainstream concerns, Democrats are alienating middle-class voters. One example they both criticized was the party's stance on crime. Despite rising crime rates in major cities, many Democratic leaders insisted things were improving. Maher slammed this as dishonest messaging that insults voters' intelligence. The result? Growing frustration among moderate Democrats and independent voters. Trump's advantage. And while Democrats struggle to manage their internal issues, guess who's still standing strong? Yep, Donald Trump. Despite facing constant media attacks, legal battles, and even surviving an assassination attempt, Trump's support has remained solid. According to Maher, this resilience comes from Trump's ability to connect with voters in a way that feels real. Love him or hate him, Trump's blunt style resonates with millions. He's known for his unapologetic attitude, and while his critics see this as reckless, his supporters view it as honesty. In contrast, Harris's struggles with authenticity make her appear rehearsed and untrustworthy. Maher emphasized that Trump's ability to speak directly to working-class concerns gives him a major advantage, one that Democrats seem to be underestimating. Adding to this, Trump's strategic moves have kept him relevant by consistently addressing hot-button issues like immigration, inflation, and national security. Trump continues to dominate headlines. Even when facing legal troubles, Trump's base rallies behind him, reinforcing the idea that he's being unfairly targeted. Meanwhile, Harris has yet to establish a strong policy identity. Critics argue that while Harris attempts to align with progressive ideals, her delivery often falls flat. This lack of a clear stance makes her seem disconnected from key voter concerns, a stark contrast to Trump's direct, often controversial messaging. Schneider warned that unless Democrats address this gap, Trump's growing support among key demographics, including Hispanic and working-class voters, could become a serious problem. He argued that Trump's appeal as an outsider continues to resonate, while Harris's image feels like more of the same political routine voters have grown tired of. The bottom line, unless Harris manages to redefine her public persona and address key voter concerns, Trump's advantage may prove insurmountable in 2024. What comes next? So what does all this mean for Kamala Harris? Well, her political future isn't looking great. With mounting criticism from both the left and the right, Harris faces an uphill battle to win public trust. Even some Democrats are quietly suggesting that Biden replace her as his running mate in the next election. But will he listen? That remains to be seen. There's also the question of whether Harris can rebuild her image before the 2024 race truly heats up. Political analysts argue that Harris needs to drastically improve her public speaking skills, sharpen her messaging, and deliver clearer policy solutions if she wants to stand a chance. On top of that, Harris has been trying to connect with younger voters, appearing on social media platforms, attending cultural events, and engaging with influential activists. But critics say these attempts often come off as staged rather than genuine. To make matters worse, Harris's approval ratings remain historically low. According to recent polls, her numbers are sinking even among traditionally Democratic demographics, including younger voters and minority communities, groups that were once seen as her key support base. If Harris doesn't pivot soon, she risks not only damaging her own career, but also dragging down the Democratic Party's chances in the next election. Political strategists warn that unless Biden's team rebrands her public image or considers replacing her, 2024 could be an uphill battle for the Democrats. Ultimately, Harris faces a defining moment: adapt, improve, and connect with voters, or risk fading into political obscurity. The next few months will be crucial in determining her fate. So what do you think? Are Bill Maher and Rob Schneider right about Kamala Harris? Is her political future really in danger? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.